Have you ever bought something that felt absolutely necessary in the moment, only to regret it a few days later? Maybe it was a new gadget, a trendy piece of clothing, or something you saw online during a late-night scroll. At the time, it felt like a great decision. But a week later, the excitement was gone, and your money was gone too. What if there was a simple trick that could stop most impulse purchases before they happen? A trick that takes almost no effort, costs nothing, and could save you thousands of dollars every year. It's called the 72-hour rule. And once you start using it, you'll never look at spending the same way again. Most people believe they overspend because they lack discipline. But that's usually not true. The real problem is that our brains are wired to seek immediate rewards. When we see something we want, our emotions take control. We imagine how good we'll feel owning it. We picture ourselves using it. And in that moment, buying feels completely reasonable. The problem is that emotions make terrible financial advisors. That's where the 72-hour rule comes in. It's a simple delay technique that gives your logical brain enough time to catch up with your emotional brain. And the results can be surprisingly powerful. The rule is incredibly simple. Whenever you want to buy something that isn't a necessity, wait 72 hours before making the purchase. That's it. No complicated budgeting apps. No spreadsheets. No financial expertise required. Just wait 3 days. If you still want the item after 72 hours, you can buy it. But during those 3 days, something interesting happens. The emotional excitement begins to fade. And that's exactly what makes this rule so effective. Most impulse purchases are driven by emotion, not logic. Retailers know this. That's why they use phrases like, limited time offer. Only 3 left. Sale ends tonight. These messages create urgency. They make you feel like you'll miss out if you don't act immediately. But in reality, most opportunities come around again. The 72-hour rule removes the pressure. It creates a gap between desire and action. And that gap is where better decisions are made. Here's a real-world example. Imagine you've just finished a long day at work. You're scrolling through social media when an advertisement appears for an online course. The sales page promises better productivity, higher income, and faster career growth. Normally the course costs $499, but today it's available for only $199. A countdown timer is running. The offer expires in just a few hours. Suddenly, buying the course feels like a smart decision. But then you apply the 72-hour rule. 3 days later, you realize something important. You already have 2 unfinished courses sitting in your account. The problem isn't a lack of information. The problem is that you haven't used what you've already paid for. The excitement fades, and the purchase no longer feels necessary. Sometimes we're not buying knowledge. We're buying the feeling that we're becoming a better version of ourselves. Psychologists call this cooling off. The stronger the emotion, the more valuable the waiting period becomes. Imagine you're browsing online and see a smartwatch for $300. You weren't planning to buy one. But suddenly it feels like something you need. The photos look amazing. The reviews are positive. The discount seems too good to miss. Without a system, you might buy it immediately. But with the 72-hour rule, you wait. Day 1, you're excited. Day 2, the excitement starts fading. Day 3, you begin asking better questions. Do I really need this? Will I actually use it? Is there something more important I could do with this money? Many people discover that the answer is surprisingly simple. They don't want the item anymore. They wanted the feeling. And feelings pass. A similar thing happens at work. A freelance designer once became convinced that he needed a premium mechanical keyboard that cost $250. Every review praised it. Every YouTube creator seemed to recommend it. He believed the keyboard would make him more productive and improve the quality of his work. Normally, he would have purchased it immediately. Instead, he waited 72 hours. During those 3 days, he noticed something interesting. His current keyboard worked perfectly fine. The real problem wasn't his equipment. It was his tendency to procrastinate. 3 weeks later, he had completely forgotten about the keyboard. We often think a new tool will solve our problems. But many times, what needs improvement isn't the tool. It's the habit behind it. Most impulse purchases don't seem expensive individually. Maybe it's $20. Maybe it's $50. Maybe it's $100. But over time, these small purchases add up. Consider someone who works in an office and orders food delivery several times a week. Each order costs about $15 more than preparing food at home. That doesn't sound like much. It's only $15. But if that happens 4 times every week, the extra spending reaches more than $3,000 a year. Most people never notice because the money disappears in small amounts. A little here. A little there. Nothing feels significant in the moment. Yet together, those small decisions create a surprisingly large financial leak. Financial problems rarely come from one giant purchase. They usually come from hundreds of small decisions repeated over time. Let's say impulse spending costs you just $50 a week. That's $200 a month. Or $2,400 a year. Invested consistently, that money could grow significantly over time. The real cost isn't the purchase itself. It's the opportunities that money could have created in the future. Every dollar spent impulsively is a dollar that can't work for you. The biggest benefit isn't saving money. It's gaining control. Most people feel like spending habits happen automatically. They see something. They want it. They buy it. The process feels almost unconscious. The 72-hour rule interrupts that cycle. It forces awareness. And awareness is where financial freedom begins. When you stop reacting automatically, you start making intentional choices. That's when your money starts aligning with your goals. Here are 3 simple upgrades. First, create a wish list. Whenever you want something, write it down instead of buying it. Second, calculate how many hours of work the item costs. A $200 purchase feels different when you realize it represents several hours of your life. Third, ask one question: will I still care about this purchase 6 months from now? That single question can eliminate many unnecessary purchases instantly. The reason most people struggle with impulse spending isn't because they're irresponsible. It's because spending decisions are often made in the heat of the moment. The 72-hour rule gives you something incredibly valuable: time. Time to think clearly. Time to separate what you truly need from what simply feels exciting right now. And that small habit can create a big difference. Imagine saving just $20, $50, or $100 every time you avoid an unnecessary purchase. Over the course of a year, that could mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars staying in your pocket instead of disappearing on things you quickly forget. More importantly, you'll gain confidence in your financial decisions. You'll stop feeling like your money controls you and start feeling like you're in control of your money. So here's a simple challenge: for the next 30 days, use the 72-hour rule on every non-essential purchase. Don't tell yourself no. Just tell yourself, I'll decide in 3 days. You'll be surprised how many things lose their appeal once the emotion fades. And every purchase you don't make is money you can save, invest, or use for something that truly improves your life. Try it once. The next time you're tempted to click buy now, wait 72 hours. That one small decision could become the habit that transforms your finances for years to come.